I am sure sports. You know me there, I'm coast to coast representing. I mean, I say this is righteous representing for Omar. You don't know, come get your sports over here from near and far. Boy. Me say I am sure sports, one thing me sure about. When me say sure, that me not doubt. Come get your sports, get it over here. Come subscribe, repost and share. I am sure sports, one thing me sure about. When me say sure, that me not doubt. Come get your sports, get it over here. Come subscribe, repost and share. If me not sure, that me not say it. Know who score, that me not say it. Never know no game play, that me not say it. If me never see no game, me not know who play. For your sports news, better come over here so. For your soccer news, then come over here so. If you don't love sports, still come over here so. For the day done, you are gonna love over here so.
So when it comes on to behavior concerning football, Jamaica is decent. I am sure that if we can get all of these things done, set in place by the end of April, it gives us enough time before the World Cup campaign. Not afraid of no Brazil, no Argentina with these crap of players. We are good enough. Remember, like, subscribe, share. Listen, comment, let me know what your thoughts are.
Trick Jerk Marinade gives your meats and vegetables authentic Jamaican jerk flavor. The spices are directly from Jamaica. Spices like jerk seasoning, allspice, Scotch bonnet pepper, fresh scallions, thyme, ginger, and garlic. The key ingredients to a great jerk marinade. 0% sugar and low in sodium. You want to try it?
Made up of 18 Jamaican herbs and spices. Add delicious, bold flavor to your next grilling experience. Flavoring sauce, a marinade, basting, condiment, or topping. Trick Nick Jerk Barbecue Sauce.
Liquid tonic. Liquid magic. Right. Yeah, back of food. Link you got.
Hello, and we are back again. My name is Pioneer. And this is I Am Sure Sports. And we're here, ladies and gentlemen, we're doing another, a series around the NBA. All right. Yesterday, I did what I would call an impromptu podcast, speaking about the Draymond Green comments, which was topical, something that's been in the media landscape, a question that was being asked for some time, and then Draymond came out and made his comments, igniting a firestorm in the media landscape, and in the general media space. I did a little impromptu podcast, but it is imperative of me right now to get some other views on the subject. I heard my views yesterday. Some persons reached out to me. Some persons were in agreement. Some persons disagree with my position. So it is only fair that I give everybody a chance to state their position live on the internet. All right. So I have a few friends with me. A few familiar faces. I have the man G Star, who is here with us. I also have
What up?
Preacher, who is joining us today on the stream. Now, welcome, gentlemen. Later on, we should be joined by a couple other people chiming in later, to state their piece and to give their position on Draymond Green's comments. All right. So let me just get right into it. As I said yesterday, personally, I disagree with Draymond Green and his position. I cannot speak to the mindset of his teammates at the time when they brought in Kevin Durant. As a basketball fan and as a person who I think is quite knowledgeable on basketball. I pride myself that way. I think based on my observation of what was happening with the Golden State Warriors at the time, it is my opinion that they didn't need Kevin Durant to get past, to win another title or to get past the Cleveland Cavaliers. But as I said my piece yesterday, I'm going to allow these gentlemen and the other persons who will be joining on the stream to state their position and to give their views. I'm going to start with you, G-Star. Give me your views. We know the comments that were made, so I don't think I need to go over that. Give me your views on Draymond,
All right.
and your overall views as to whether you're in agreement, totally, or you're in disagreement, and as to how you viewed that Warriors team at that time, and if you thought it would have been possible for them to win another championship.
Well, as KG would say, anything is possible, right? So we're not gonna go there. Do I think it was likely that they were going to beat the Cleveland Cavaliers? I don't think so. Um,
I want you to give me a reasoning.
You guys have-
when you
All right.
give me your position, I want you to give me some reasoning behind that.
All right. The first thing is people have gone over this already. The fact that Matty Dellavedova was their second best player, Cleveland's second best player.
In 2015, we're talking about.
Yeah, and then Cleveland brought it to 6 games. And then we understand that Draymond Green, the suspension and everything. But then we'll be going into hypotheticals because the Cavaliers did win. And I'm a Golden State fan.
No, but in stating
Yeah,
that no, G-Star, the question I'm now going to ask you, I'm going to ask you to give your position on that. And we can always, listen, that's what we do. We do predictions, we give we go into hypothetical situation. In your view, at the time, watching that 2016 final series, when Golden State went up 3-1, did you think it was possible? If all things were equal, did you at the time think it was possible for Cleveland Cavaliers to come back in that series based on everything that you have seen in those 4 games? So were you predicting a Cleveland comeback? And are you of the opinion that if the Draymond Green suspension didn't happen, does Golden State go on to win that final? Or does Cleveland Cavaliers complete the comeback, even without the Draymond Green suspension?
I'm a Warriors fan, so I'm going to be biased. So I would have say if
go back to the moment. No,
Draymond Green,
go back.
Go
ahead.
No, Draymond Green being suspended. Yeah, I thought that the Warriors would have won that game there. I'm talking about game. Was it game 5? Was it game 5? Draymond was suspended.
Yeah, man.
I thought the Warriors would have won game 5. But looking back on it now, looking back at the series, I thought the Cleveland Cavaliers were the better team. I did. I thought the Cleveland Cavaliers were the better team.
Even when they were 3-1 down?
After the series.
After the series.
Because as I said, I thought,
all right.
After the series. So
I don't want to budge you in a G-Star. I don't want to budge you.
You're not budging me, bro.
We're not budging. All right. So as I said, we're trying to get perspective on the reasoning. All right.
Nothing wrong.
For example, let me give you an example of my talk. When I was watching this Boston series, after game 1, persons came out and said the series was done. Boston was going to win. After game 2, after game 3, a lot of persons came out and said, boy, Golden State, this team is too much of Golden State. I said, based on what I was seeing in the series, Boston would not win another game. Because at that point, at 2-1 down, I saw that Golden State was the better team in the series and they were going to win the next 3 games consistently. I said that. It came true. True to form, it came true. Now, watching that series in 2016, when the series was at 3-1, with going into game 5, after the night of game 4, Golden State just won that game. I think it was, let me see what the score is. But Golden State just won that game 4.
come on to the scores, remember, but
Yeah,
we know
man.
that
At that time,
thing
are
has
you
the
looking at the
momentum.
series? Are you
What
looking
else
at the
has the
series at
momentum?
that time? Are you looking at the series at that time and saying, boy, Cleveland is the better team right here, and I think they're going to come back and win the series? Yes or no?
No, I wasn't. I probably wasn't thinking that. I probably wasn't
Okay.
thinking that at that time. But what I'm saying is, it's a when it comes to basketball and playoffs, there's 7 game series. So after the series now, that is when we really judge. And
Okay.
I'm saying that first of all, even rewind that. Once LeBron went to Cleveland and he got Kevin Love and Kyrie Irving, that was a super team. I thought that they were going to win championships, right? Even though I was a Warriors fan,
You thought that team was a better
as
team
soon
than
as
the
it
Golden
was
State.
assembled, just like Miami, as soon as Miami was assembled, I knew that team was going to win championships. When he
Okay.
went home to Cleveland, I assumed that that team was going to win championships, right? So fast forward to 2016 now. As I said, Draymond after the series, right? There's a reason why all 5 of them went to the Hamptons, Pioneer. They went to the Hamptons, and we know the Hamptons fight, right? Plus Steve Kerr, and I think the general manager. They recruit. They didn't recruit KD one away, you know. All 5 of them went as a contingent. That's not normal. I don't think I've ever heard a team recruit a player in that manner. Have you,
Um,
Pioneer?
we have never heard about it, but I'm sure that in as a recruiting strategy, it might not have been where it might not be where all
All
players
five
actually
of
come
them
to
fly,
physically meet. To answer your question, I've never heard of it, but I'm
but
saying it is not unusual
exactly.
for players to reach out to other players to come join them. Something of this magnitude might be
Sure, but
unprecedented.
not
It
all
might
five
not
of
have happened,
them.
or we have
But
never
not,
heard about it.
but exactly, not all 5 of them. So moving forward again,
Mhm.
for me, you know, I thought that the Warriors could have beaten the Cleveland Cavaliers without KD. I think it would be unlikely though. I would give them maybe a 35 to 40% chance, right? But with KD, it was guaranteed. So for
Okay.
me, they needed KD to beat the Cleveland Cavaliers. And there's nothing wrong with that because LeBron developed a super team. So if you're KD and if you're the Golden State Warriors, you do the same. You actually, it's like poker. You one up them. You know what I'm saying? You play your trump card, and the trump card was Kevin Durant. Preacher.
All right. So hold on. First, before we start preaching, let me welcome Mr. Edition to the stream. Mr. Special Edition is saying, "Let's go heat. Big up yourself, guys and panelists. Give thanks." All right. Welcome forward, Mr. Special Edition. Preacher, same question to you, my brethren. I want you to give me your views on, how you view the Draymond Green statement, and similar to my as G-Star, allow yourself to go back to that space and time, and tell me if you at that time you shared those sentiments.
All right, let's start with the Draymond statement. I think we're reading a lot into it. It's an opinion. People are entitled to their opinion. I don't necessarily share that opinion.
Stick
Draymond
up
is a
in, stick up in though, preacher. And persons are making a lot of the fact that he was a part of those team. He was an integral part of the team. He was the heartbeat of the team. So persons are putting weight on the fact that if he made that statement, then there is great value within the statement. Him being in the
yeah,
moment at the
and,
time.
and I was about to get to that, and I think Draymond is being a bit revisionist in the history in looking back. Um, and let's put everything in context. The Golden State Warriors has just won their 4th championship,
Mhm.
and Draymond Green seems to be trying to make peace with all of the people who he has in the past had issues with, players, KD being one. Remember that this was the same Draymond Green who told KD that we don't need you. Now, people can say, well, Draymond was angry or upset when he said that. I've learned in psychology that there are two times when people usually speak honestly and without inhibition. One, when they're drunk, and two, when they're angry. Draymond wasn't drunk, he was angry. I think when he said what he said, that came from a true place. Because at that time, people were actually saying KD is the best player in the world. If we remember, people were saying KD has surpassed LeBron. He was coming off two league MVPs, two playoff finals MVPs, right? And Draymond in the next season was telling KD, yo, we don't need you.
We won before you, and we can win without you.
We won before you, and we can win without you.
Okay.
Now, which Draymond should we believe? The Draymond who said that then, or the Draymond now after winning your fourth championship, and after you and KD going back and forth on social media about different things, is now saying, well, the truth is KD didn't get enough props from the outside world. Well, you were the one who said you didn't need him. So I don't know what to believe. Now, let's go back now to that finals prior to KD joining the Golden State Warriors.
2016 finals.
If my memory serves me well, every game except game 7 was a double-digit win. The Warriors were blowing out the Cavs in the games that they won, and the Cavs were winning by double digits in the game that they won. Game 7 was a 4-point game. Now, if the teams were that,
stick up in, preacher. I got to add some perspective to what you said. I have it right here. In game 1, Warriors won 104-89, a 15-point win. In game 2, Warriors won 110-77. That's what 33-point blow. All right, that was game 2. In game 3, Cavs won 120-90, a 30-point blow. In game 4, Warriors won 108-97, an 11-point win. In game 5, Cavs won 112-97, a 15-point win. Game 6, Cavs won 115-101, a 14-point win. Go ahead, preacher. Game 7 now was 93-89, a 4-point win.
Good. So if we look at the numbers, we realize that at 3-1, the Warriors were beating the Cavs by blowing them out. It wasn't even close. So something had to change significantly in that series for the swing to be that great, going in the other direction for games 5 and 6. And what do we have? We have a Draymond Green suspension after game 4, right? So the Cavs came in and won. We had an Andrew Bogut injury, right? That also was played a significant role in affecting how Golden State played at the time. I mean, Kevin Love also had an injury and missed out in one of the games, and then coming back. So I mean, you can give and take here and there.
Ironically, though, preacher, I could put perspective to that. Kevin Love actually missed game 3, which he actually won by 30 points. So Kevin Love missed game 3.
So even that gives a different perspective. I'm saying all of this to say that if two teams played a 7-game series and without suspension and without injury to Golden State, we can easily say that Golden State might have won that series. Why would Golden State not be able to beat LeBron and the Cavs the next season when they were healthy? Steph was playing some of his best ball game. He had just come off unanimous MVP. He was the leading scorer in the league.
Won the scoring title. A 50-40-90 season.
Yeah. Why would they not be able to beat the Cavs? Now, I put it this way. The Golden State Warriors could have beaten the Cavs without KD. The Golden State Warriors could not lose to the Cavs with KD. That's two different things. With KD, they were unbeaten.
Isn't that the whole point, though?
No,
But isn't that
that's
the whole
not.
point, or preacher?
No, it's different. No,
No,
it's a
there's
different thing to
there's a
say.
difference in the argument in a G-Star. And
Yeah,
this is weird.
yeah,
This is weird. Hold on.
yeah.
We have somebody
I
joining
know
us on the
that.
podcast. I'm not, hold on. Let me see who we have here joining us. Welcome forward,
CC,
So
big up
I.
yourself.
Yo, big up on
Welcome.
yourself. Big up. I'm Pioneer, man.
So this is Gunner's boss, Pine Action, who is joining us on the podcast. Pine, we soon get to you. Obviously, Pine on the job, people. So Pine is just chiming in. You must do it vocally. I don't know if you want to show him.
Yeah, man. I saw me ask you, man. I mean, mute the camera. I watch nothing.
Stick up in G-Star. Give me a second, the preacher. CC Sports Club. Welcome forward, CC. Good to have you, my brethren. Wish you were on the podcast with us. Draymond, all right. So CC saying Draymond Green recruited KD, so he will say all kinds of ish. He goes on to say, do we believe KD is a better basketball player than Steph Curry? Yes, but who is the greater NBA player? Steph is simply put. All right, respect CC, respect for your votes. We also welcome Gavin McCook to the stream. Welcome forward, Gavin McCook. Gavin is saying, what about 2015 when Kyrie and Caleb was injured? All right, so G-Star, you were just saying, you were trying to say to Preacher was saying there's a difference between needing something to do something or having it available knowing that it gets you over the bump. So there's a line to be drawn between the persons who are saying that they couldn't beat the Cavs without Kevin Durant. What Preacher is saying is that they could not lose to the Cavs with Kevin Durant. And there's a line to be drawn, a distinction to be made right there. I am interpreting Draymond's statement to mean that they had no chance of beating the Cavs without Kevin Durant. And that is where I am in utter disagreement with Draymond. Okay? Go ahead, Preacher.
No, it's not, for me, it's not a matter of couldn't. It's a matter of wouldn't. You know what I'm saying? Of course, they could have beaten Cleveland because it went to 7 games. But more than likely, they wouldn't have. And I know the last 10 years, maybe 10 to 15 years, the Golden State Warriors have been the best run organization in sports. Whether it was trading for Andrew Wiggins, trading for signing Andre Iguodala from Denver, etc., right? Trading Monte. I don't know if anybody remembers that. Monte Ellis was the star of Golden State. And they traded Monte Ellis.
All right. Yeah, but
hold on.
Yeah.
Monte Ellis. What I'm saying is, it's a brilliantly run organization. There's no way they're going to go. They were always planning to go Kevin Durant. Win, lose, right? However, they knew that.
G-Star, your connection a little. Hold on, G-Star. Your connection is a little bad. Yeah. Now hold on, your connection is a little bad. You're coming through a little bit. Crack, you're not coming through.
Okay. All right.
With such clarity. The same breath, I want to welcome DJ Liverpool Romain to the stream. All right, big up DJ Liverpool Romain. All right, G-Star. Say something else, G-Star. Let me see if your reception is a little better.
Also welcome. Testing 1, 2.
All right, y'all come to a little here. Also welcome National to the stream. National is joining us, gentlemen. Like Pine Action might join us to start with voice only. National acknowledge your presence in Virgin. We'll soon get to you. Continue, G-Star. You were trying to rebut something, Preacher was saying.
Yeah. So basically, and just to conclude this, all I'm saying is, as I say it again, the Cleveland Cavaliers developed a super team. LeBron James developed a super team. The Golden State Warriors just trumped them, being a good organization. That is what every organization tries to do. They try to get the best team they possibly can.
All right, G-Star, that aside. All right. What we are trying to put into perspective is a statement. I acknowledge what you're saying, G-Star. I heard in that same 2015-2016 season, we heard through the regular NBA rumor mills that the Golden State Warriors, we knew that Kevin Durant was becoming a free agent. We heard that the Warriors were recruiting Kevin Durant. So that was being said during the season. This was before the playoffs. This was during the regular season. There were games between two teams where I don't remember that big shot that Steph hit in that overtime shot, that three from almost half court. That game at OKC. When the game,
Oh,
when the
yeah,
game
man, I
ended,
remember that.
when the game ended, just saw Draymond whispering into KD's ear, just saw Steph whispering into KD's ear, and there was that general sentiment throughout the season that the Golden State Warriors were trying to recruit KD. Now that goes without saying. I tell people all the time, give me a second, preacher. I tell people all the time, every organization tries to compile the best talent. That goes without saying. All right, so we're not discussing the organizational part of the thing, G-Star. We're discussing this. We're examining the statement and whether it has validity to it. Preacher, you're saying. I'll get back to you,
All right.
G-Star.
Yeah, I just want to be quick because I want to give the others a chance to chime in.
Sure.
To say that they wouldn't have beaten them without KD is to try and be predictive about something that we don't know. We don't know if they would have. We don't. Could they have? Yes, they could have. That's two separate things. So with the woulda, coulda thing, I mean, woulda is looking back and pretending that we're prophets. We don't know what would have happened without KD. Could they have beaten them? Yeah, of course they could have. They went to 7 games with them without KD, right? So that's my position on that. Now, the other thing that I have a problem with is when Redick asked him if he could have beaten the Rockets.
We'll get into that. I'll get into that.
No, I have to do it quickly because I have to jump up.
All right, no problem. Go ahead.
Yeah, when Redick asked him if they could have beaten the Houston Rockets, he says, "Nah, that team couldn't have beaten us." Zine? No, that team took them to 7 games with KD. Chris Paul got injured in that series. They were leading them in game 7.
Yeah.
Zine?
Missed about 26 3-point shots.
Yeah, so
in a row, I only lost by 7.
Listen to Draymond Green's logic. We couldn't beat the Cavs, who you swept in one series and who you beat in 5 games in another. We couldn't beat the Cavs
without KD,
but the Rockets couldn't beat us without KD. When you had KD, the Rockets took you to 7 games. That is illogical. And that is why I'm saying Draymond can say anything he wants. It's his opinion. He's on the inside, so it seems to carry more weight and credence. But at the end of the day, because you have Steph and Clay, who are cool dudes, who don't make a fuss about anything, you get away with doing that. Because if KD was Draymond's teammate now, and Draymond said we could have won without Steph, KD would be salty about that because that's KD's personality. Draymond knows he can get away with saying certain things because of the personality of Steph and Clay, right? And he and LeBron James are very buddy. So he's not going to tarnish LeBron's legacy either by saying, yo, we could have beat LeBron without KD. So Draymond is playing possum. And we can take it for what it is. To me, it's his opinion. He's entitled to it. But I'm not going to share that opinion because the facts say something very different. All right? I'm going to jump off. I'm going to join you guys on YouTube. But
give thanks to your perspective, preacher. Give thanks, my brethren. Manners and respect. Appreciate it as always, my brethren. I want to welcome a special lady who just texted me and said she's on the stream. I want to welcome Monica, joining us all the way from Texas. All right. So I, aka Pioneer, aka Gunners Boss. We'll give you a chance to chime in, my brethren. But before, let me read this comment from Gavin Macook. Gavin Macook is saying 2016 Golden State was psychologically messed up. And I'm thinking that he's talking about after the fact. All right. I disagree with you. If you want to say after they lost the 7-game series, they would have been messed up, fine. But going into that series, going into 2016 finals, into that season, and I've said this quickly, and I'm basing this based on all the talks that happened after the 2015 finals, where they beat the Cavs without Kyrie and Kevin Love, and everybody was saying, boy, it's absence of Kyrie and Kevin Love. Now, Christmas Day, they beat Cavs. 18th January, they waxed Cavs by 34 points at Cleveland. And I keep saying, in the first 4 games, they were leading Cavs comfortably. If you want to say that after the comeback, then they would have been out of their mind space, then I can understand that. But They would have gone into the off season, probably had gotten another free agent. It didn't have to be for me, it didn't have to be a Kevin Durant. A player that was halfway between Harrison Barnes and Kevin Durant would have been, in my opinion, would have been enough for Golden State. So, your time for chime in, my brother. Gunners boss. It seems like Gunners boss and a break. We had National just now. National seem to have had to jump off. I'm gonna read this comment from.
Let me ask you a question, Pioneer. While we're here, let me ask you a question.
Give me a second, G-Star. CC Sports Staff said Draymond Green is a clutch sport line preacher who owns clutch, LeBron James. Can you understand that? That's another angle that persons are putting on it. CC. G-Star, you're saying?
Yeah. Oh, and before I get to that, you can't listen to anything Draymond says. I don't know if you noticed, Draymond Green has been talking a whole lot of junk recently.
I'm ask you, since you and I are the ones here, yeah. we ain't on that and his statement now about, and I said that in this in my podcast yesterday. We ain't on his statements, the one that preacher just spoke on.
I can't take anything that Draymond Green says seriously.
No, but G-Star, if you say I can't take anything when I'm serious, then obviously we shouldn't give credence because.
Did you hear the rest?
I heard the entire.
Did you hear the rest of what we were talking about? What Preacher was talking about with Houston? First of all, Pioneer, the man said team were figuring us out. Not team, you know. He said teams were figuring us out. So and when they mentioned the Houston Rockets, he kind of what's the word I'm looking for?
He was dismissed.
Yes. How can you dismiss the Houston Rockets where they're the only team that brought you to 7 games and Chris Paul got injured? How does that make any sense? Isn't it? And then now, something just come through on my Bleacher Report that he's saying that he took Jaylen Brown's soul. I don't know how true that is because I didn't read it, but it just came through on my Bleacher Report.
He actually said that. If you want, and this I want to say this.
No, he didn't take Jaylen Brown's soul.
Hold on, give me a second, G-Star. I want to say this. There are some persons on the radio, and everybody who watching and who follow the general sports media landscape in Jamaica will know who I'm talking about. I think it's irresponsible journalism, and it's irresponsible of someone who calls himself a journalist or a broadcaster to know of a broadcast or a podcast or some reporting. You take a snippet, a 90-second snippet of that podcast or broadcast. Watch it, comes on here, pines about it and go over it and regurgitate without watching the entirety of the podcast. And G-Star, if you watch, the podcast was 1 hour and 24 minutes. I watched it twice. He did say after game 3 or game 4, he realized that he said when he saw that Jaylen Brown was complaining to the referees, he realized that he took Jaylen Brown's soul. A big statement.
Pioneer. How can you take the man's soul and the man dropped like 35 points in game 6? That's what I'm saying. I cannot listen to most of what, like, I listen it, you know, but I have to take it with a grain of salt. You get what I'm saying? So for me, Draymond's talking a whole lot of garbage. For me.
All right, we have Gunners Boss with us. It's Gunners Boss here, right? Yep. All right, Gunners Boss. Give me your views, my brother. Respect and manners. Welcome forward.
Yeah, man. This me have to honor me disguise, you know, because I appear those mean, and you see, I pay us, look.
I understand, my brother, and I appreciate you for joining.
Yeah, and upon the job me there, you know what I mean? So me have to in or out of the stream because you can't make the man who pay the bills come catch up on the phone and the live, you know what I mean?
We understand, my brother.
Yeah. You are now Pioneer. After listening to you for ranting on the radio for days and yesterday and that 15-minute live and everything, I don't know why you so interested in trying to discredit Draymond Green's statement. It's because Draymond Green is giving too much people that you don't want him to give his flowers, their flowers. So that is a personal thing with you, you know, but individually speaking, you know, I don't see nothing wrong with Draymond Green's statement, you know, because you know what happened? Kevin Durant leave the Warriors, clear fallout before Kevin Durant leave. Steph Curry was on and off. Draymond Green started play a little basketball where him have to lead the team. And the team end up in at the lottery and come out with Jonathan Kuminga and another individual. Who are the next draft pick will them get before him? John Wiseman, wait, right? Kuminga and Wiseman them come out of the draft with. No, they was trying to make those two. They was trying to make those two into what Kevin Durant was. It did not happen until they get Andre Wiggins, who is quicker on the field.
Oh, well, all right. To correct in a fine action, they only drafted. All right, so listen, let me get a sequence of events. After the
that's what me don't want to do. Let me just talk and come off of it. I work with it. No, but me give you enough time to talk, so just record when me I say when me don't know you can remote when me have to say, but give me time, let me talk, man.
All right, my brother, go ahead.
Them get jail, them bring in this kid now who is presently a better defender than Kevin Durant. Quicker on the feet, give you about half the points that Kevin Durant would have given you. He was the one who made the difference because he made up for most of what Kevin Durant would have done for the Warriors, and that's why they went back and win a championship. Draymond Green is right. If you don't have Kevin Durant, you have to have somebody as even 50-60% as good as Kevin Durant, which is what Andre Wiggins is. If you have Kevin Durant, they would have blown out this Boston Celtics team. With Andre Wiggins, they go to what, 6 games? And that's all I have to say. I am going to accept what Draymond Green have to say as someone who is in the game, playing the game, and also because I'm pro player, and I like what Draymond Green is doing with the old media. Welcome new media, and them people are beaten, and them youth take over now and I tell you, we're not going to allow enough use of semantics, We're use some, analyze the game properly and just stop pointing finger upon one individual, this, that, and the third. So I love Draymond Green. I want Draymond Green to continue to give you things to disagree with because you are the one make Draymond Green. You is one of the individuals, maybe the only individual. I don't know if you hear, and you and his style, but I'm not the only individual who put Draymond Green up on this pedestal, all the way up there, to put him at a man who earned what Draymond Green earning 4 years, what Westbrook will be earning for 1 year. And
Draymond Green earn $100 million in 4 years.
So what? How much years?
4 years.
Okay, well, you know much a 47 point ad my boy I get for 1 year. So what you're talking about? I work for 2 years for what you work for 4 years. For 3 years, we're not talking with it. Anyway, let me tell you the truth now. I agree. Let me just say this, Aaron. I agree with Draymond Green 100%. I disagree with you on all that semantics. Be quiet now.
All right, my brother. All right. So here I'm saying no, Pina. Let me say this to you. You basically agree with what me said. I said what Golden State Warriors need was not Kevin Durant. They needed somebody who was halfway between Harrison Barnes. And that person is Andrew Wiggins. If you would agree, if you agree with me, G-Star, you would say Andrew Wiggins is halfway between Kevin Durant and the flooring would be Harrison Barnes. If the ceiling was KD and the floor was Harrison Barnes, you would say Andrew Wiggins is halfway up the wall, right? You agree with me on that?
Yeah. Somewhere in between.
A little more than half.
I read Harrison Barnes, I read Harrison Barnes.
All right. So I'm saying.
But yeah, close though. It's close. Yeah.
Good. All right. Good. So may I say my statement, and this is why I disagree. All right. And I was asking you, J-Star, about his statement regarding the Houston Rockets. And in framing that to you, may I ask you a question now. Who do you think the Warriors needed KD more to beat? Did they need the Warriors more to beat Cavs, or did they need the Warriors more to beat the Houston Rockets? Your opinion?
Both. But it turns out that
more. G-Star, I said ask you more. Which one they which one was Kevin Durant's service required?
Fine. I'll come off with the fence.
More.
Oh, yeah, man, I'll come off.
Service required more for the Rockets. Don't tell me about Bridget. May I ask if you do a comparison?
No, man,
Good.
Fine. I'll come off with the fence. I would say the Cleveland Cavaliers, and let me give you my reason why.
Okay, all right.
Because in 2018, KD got injured with the Achilles or the quote unquote calf, and it was
Okay.
2-2.
No,
And
he got injured in game 5. It was 2-1. It was 3-2. He got injured late in game 5. I remember help you. I remind. He got injured
no man,
late
it was
in game 5.
it was
G-Star,
2-2.
just me on that, no G-Star. Man.
No,
It was
trust me, Pioneer. You know I don't lose these
all
things.
right. No man, neither me no.
No,
Neither me. I don't lose.
hold
All
on,
right. So
hold on, did that series didn't go to game 7? No, that series
no, it
went
went to
6.
game 6. It was a 6 game, but KD actually got injured in game. We can't tell you even the score. It was Iggy. Iggy dropped 17 points in a game 6. Steph dropped 30 something and Clay dropped, I think, 30 or 20 something.
Oh yeah, okay, you might
That
be
was a
right.
game 6.
I think you
But
might.
KD,
Yeah, I think you
all
might.
right. We can pull it up. So we are going to the 20.
Yeah, man, I think you might be right. I think you might be right.
Right. So
But it was it wasn't fourth quarter though. Like the game was still in balance, if I remember. It wasn't a blowout, right? So without KD, they actually still beat the Houston Rockets in that series, and there was a healthy Chris Paul. And when people talk about Chris Paul talking and James Harden, for me, that's always the series that I go back to for them. But so they didn't need. They actually need to beat the Houston Rockets that year. But for me, they were always going to need KD to beat LeBron James, bro. Come on, it's LeBron. Who's going to match up with LeBron? Who?
Oh, let me welcome.
Hey,
Hold on, G-Star. Hold on. I'm going to ask you a question. Hold on. I heard everything you said. Welcome, Romy and Lawrence, to the stream. Well, Romy and Lawrence, welcome. Romy is saying, yes, Andrew Wiggins is 60% the player. KD is. All right. And Andrew Lawrence, Romy Lawrence is agreeing with me that KD got injured in game 5. It was game 5, G-Star. Now, let me say this to you, G-Star.
Yeah, man, I kind of remember now.
All right. Well, let me see. He's making another statement too. Romain Lawrence is saying that. That's what I'm saying.
Romario.
He said it was a 1-point game when he got injured. It was 66-60. Romario Lawrence is saying. Well, I remember that, Romario. It was in game 5. All right. Now,
yeah, so the game was
G-Star. G-Star. So you said this. It was labyrinth. All right. And this is what I can't understand. This is where even Draymond's statement baffles me. No, I'm saying we have go back to 2016 now, G-Star. G-Star, we were back in 2016. This is still LeBron, you know. After the big hullabaloo and hype of everybody saying that, listen, they only won in 2015 because Kevin Love and Kyrie Irving was injured. 2 times in the regular season, Golden State beat the Cavs handily with Kevin Love and with Kyrie and with LeBron James. Their big 3 was intact. In one game on January 18, the man them embarrassed them on their home court. 132-98. They got beat by 34 on your home court. Now you meet this team in the finals, G-Star. Listen to what I say now. Understand my reasoning. And hold on to your statement that this was LeBron. So you must have had some revenge on your mind. This team beat you twice in the regular season, and now you're in the NBA finals. In game 1, you get beaten by 15. In game 2, you get beaten by 33 points, my virgin. That this was still LeBron in a G-Star. In game 4, you go back home and you win. You win the third game at your home court. But in game 3, but in game 4, you get beaten and now you're down 3-1. This is still LeBron. And this is and people will say give LeBron kudos for him beating Draymond and getting him suspended. All right, if that's what you're talking about, this is LeBron, then fine. But on the court, the game being played on the court, the Warriors were getting the better of the Cleveland Cavaliers for those first 4 games while both teams were whole. Now, if we fast forward that now to 20, let's say Golden State win. All right, and that's the question I'm going to ask people. You know. Everybody and their granny and their mother said, had not Draymond Green gotten injured, the Warriors would have won that series. So let's play devil's advocate or put a hypothetical situation. If the Warriors win that series, do they need KD to beat the Cavs the following year? Yes or no? No Draymond suspension in game 5. No Draymond suspension in game 5. The Warriors wins in 5. which everybody thinks that would have been the case if Draymond didn't get suspended. They
But
don't.
that's an unfair
They
question.
win. No, but I'm just saying,
But
no,
that's an
G-Star.
unfair question.
And that is why I said to you, know, this thing where people keep saying they needed KD. This team was on their way to beat the Cavs. If they beat the Cavs after beating them twice in the regular season handily, and then beating them 4-1, and this is just an assumption. This is just an assumption. So if I beat you twice in the regular season, after you are hyping and saying that I couldn't beat you because I only beat you because two of your best three players were out. And I beat you twice in the regular season and beat you 4 in the final. Do I now need KD in 2016-17 to beat you again? Yes or no?
But clearly no. But that's an unfair question because you're bringing up something hypothetical and then want to bring it back. You know?
All right. So I'm saying,
here's my question to you. All right, go on. Yeah. You have another question?
No, but I'm saying G-Star, even you, and you and I have had this conversation in the past. You are in agreement, if not fully, but at least 70% or 80% agreement that had not Draymond Green gotten suspended that year, the Warriors would have closed out in Game 4. There was nothing that I saw from a as people who watch basketball. Good. But I'm saying to you now, G-Star, your thoughts at that time, because as we said, we can't go game by game. There was nothing.
After watching Game 6 and Game 7, if you are really that team, you win that game. Game 7 at home. Yeah. Oh, come on. Yeah, after winning that game,
as Preacher pointed out, G-Star, seeing that game come down to the wire. Two players basically determined that game. That game was tight.
Steph turnover?
Three players determined that game. Thank you for reminding about the Steph turnover. The Steph turnover, the LeBron James block, and the Kyrie Irving tree. The game came down to 3 players G-Star. Had Steph not turned over the ball, for example, made a good pass to Clay, and Clay had hit a 3. Then Warriors would have gone up, and who knows what could have happened. I'm saying to you, my brethren, all of those things considered. I'm sure that all right, had not and the Kevin Durant signing came pretty early in the off season. It happened on the 4th of July, and I think the finals ended somewhere in the 20-something of June. So had the Warriors gone into the off season without the option of getting Kevin Durant, are you saying they would be sitting down saying, man, we can't beat this team? Is that what you're saying, G-Star? So they would be sitting down and saying, boy, we have absolutely no chance of beating this team.
No, they wouldn't think that they have no chance, but they'll be thinking that they're shit SOL. Isn't it? No, here's my question to you, no Pioneer. Here's my question to you. Because this was a very critical, what's the word I'm looking for? Like snippet video in that finals. Do you remember when LeBron James blocked Steph Curry and looked at him?
Yeah, that was in Game 6.
You remember that?
Mm-hmm. That was in Game 6.
That clip tells you everything. That clip tells you everything you need to know. You know, LeBron knows the series done at that point, my boss. Even he knew that at that point. No. Also, the very next year, when they asked LeBron,
I disagree with you, G-Star. Based on my previous statement, when I said the game came down to 3 critical plays. That's Game 6. This is Game 7 we're in now.
Yeah.
Saying no bad pass.
But I'm just talking about the look.
All right. Me draw a parallel. Golden State this year came out in Game 7. I said this to people before. I said to people from Game 5, so listen, Golden State are going to win Game 5. This was before Game 5. And then they're going to go to Boston and punk Boston in Game 6. All right, they basically did that. This wasn't the Cleveland Cavaliers punking the Warriors in Game 7. This was a close game that was neck and neck up to with about 3 minutes left in the game. A game that by anybody's assumption could have gone anyway. As I said, the Steph turnover, which wasn't something that was forced, it was a careless pass behind the back. He was trying to pass to Klay Thompson. The LeBron James block, people rate as one of the biggest block in history of the NBA. And the big Kyrie tree over Steph Curry, saying which was actually the game winner. Those 3 players are the players that decide. The die get cast another way, we have a different result. This is not a blowout, Bridget. This is not Cleveland Cavaliers ramping Golden State in Game 7. This is a nick and cut game that went the Cavaliers way. So I disagree with that
All right.
statement the way you just said.
All right. And here's what the Draymond Green statement come in now. Well, forget the whole figuring out thing. See? But I think that if they had played the next year again without KD, I thought that the Warriors would have probably get 4-1 or 4-2. Because Cleveland just now has that confidence. You get me? I ain't even talking about figuring out. I just think Cleveland at that point knew that they were the better team. And I think Golden State knew that Cleveland was the better team. Because even when you're on the ball court, you're playing street ball, you're playing football, whatever. Sometimes, even though you always believe that you're going to win, but you know that, okay, this team is a better team. You understand what I'm saying? Like, you always believe you can win, but you can also realize that, that this team I'm going against, they're the better team. So I think that is what Golden State realized. They realized that Cleveland was the better team.
You know what I split that your statement in two. Listen. I can say that the Golden State mindset after the series might have said to them, boy, this team, yeah. And somebody said it earlier in the stream, but they said Golden State was psychologically, let me say disruptive. Now that wasn't the person's word, but I said psychologically disruptive after game 7. I disagree with the part of your thing when they said they were the better team. I cannot beat you twice in the regular season. And
regular season don't come Pioneer. But the regular season determine the team. How good a team you are is also decided by your regular season play. No, hold on, Bridget. No, I understand what I say. I blow you out of your own court in the regular season. I am beating you handily in game 1 and 2. You beat me in game 3. I beat you on your home court in game 4. And then somewhere in that now, I said to you, I am saying now, all of a sudden now, you become a better team than me. I suffer a suspension and some injuries that shift the paradigm of the series. And now you beat me and I all of a sudden say you are the better team. But can't agree with that notion, G-Star. And that is where I part with Draymond and his statement. Not only the foolishness them say about the Houston Rockets, and I disagree with you, G-Star. If you look at that, I'll get back to what I said. Before we go to the Houston thing, but let me finish what I said here. I cannot say that this team was a better team than me when I had the better of them for the most of the season. Talent for talent, if you ask me, talent for talent. A couple of things was critical in that series. They started Festus Azili in that game 7. If you can go back look at that man, he scored 1 point, grabbed 1 rebound, and he had 1 point, 1 assist, and 0. 1 assist, 1 rebound, and 0 points. Big defensive liability. They locked a big man to play alongside Draymond. Steph was carrying it for me and this is not excuse. What Draymond said about Steph being physically less than he is now, wherein they could bump him off his spot. You saw people like Tristan Thompson, them using them big bodies to take a physical toll on him. That was true partially with the fact that he was not as strong as he is now, and partially due to the fact that he came out of the first series of the playoffs versus Houston with an injury when he came back in Portland for the semifinals. So he was partially injured, and yes, he wasn't as strong as he was now. So that part of Draymond's statement where he said that Steph, was not the physical specimen that he is now. I agree with that part. But to suggest that a man who was the scoring leader, was your lead up to that time, chance in the league, this man was scoring at 50, 40, 90. Couldn't get off his shot when he fell down. I disagree with that part of the statement to G-Star. Foolishness.
Yeah? Good. Now may I say to you, Bridget, for me, and gentle folks, we'll wrap up the stream in a little while because we have gone near to an hour. For me, I dissect the entirety of the podcast. Draymond Green, like you said, G-Star, he said some things that I agree with, like when I mentioned the Steph Curry thing. All right, but I disagree with a lot of what he said. I fundamentally disagree with him about needing Kevin Durant more to beat Cleveland than to beat Houston. If you ask me, the two teams that they had the greatest test against in the Kevin Durant era was the San Antonio Spurs. I don't remember if that game one where Kawhi got injured. They were getting beaten by 24 points. That San Antonio Spurs would have given them a greater challenge than the Cleveland Cavaliers. And the Houston Rockets, saying we can always speculate, and just like I'm talking about the Draymond Green injury, people can point to Chris Paul getting injured and say, and people have said it, if Chris Paul doesn't get injured in that series, Houston Rockets beat the Golden State Warriors. There was no such inkling or even a sighting for the Cavs. They were trounced 4-1 in the first finals, and if you ask me, the NBA gave them that game, what was it, game 4, where they scored 86 points in a half, and the ref called like 15 calls straight for the Cavs. The NBA didn't want to sweep that in 2017, so they gave them one game. And in 2018, the NBA couldn't save them from getting swept again. So if you ask me, the Houston Rockets were a bigger test and a bigger threat to the Golden State Warriors. With Kevin Durant.
Pioneer, you said something. You said something, talent for talent. So before we come off of this, let's just
big up Outer East. Welcome Outer East and big up Ryan LFC. Manners and respect, Virgins and Virgin. Welcome forward to the stream. Go ahead, G-Star.
Yeah. All right. Let me just read Preacher's nonsense. LeBron knew the series was done in Game 6. The series went to Game 7, and they won by 4 points. G-Star, you're Bramble. Preacher said that. Okay, fair enough, Preacher. All right. So now, you said we're talking about the better team, right? Talent for talent. This was Steph Curry's unanimous MVP year, right? And people at that point there was a debate. Like, who was the better player, LeBron or KD? Now looking back on it, we're just gonna go the top 3 players to the top 3 players. Who was the better player, LeBron or Steph?
LeBron.
All right, easily. Kyrie or Clay?
Balance out for me.
For me, Kyrie's a better player. Kyrie's better than Clay.
Defensively, Clay way better than Kyrie. And offensively,
overall.
In that thing, make it clear, slight edge.
Kevin Love and my boy and
Draymond Green had Kevin Love.
That's probably
ticket. Kevin Love.
I would say that
Draymond Green had Kevin Love's ticket to everything. Even now when Draymond play Kevin Love, he have him ticket. Kevin Love is Draymond ticket. So keep on a leash. So Draymond, if you ask me in the context of the series, Draymond Green for me.
The big tree for big tree. You think which big tree you think is more talented and better?
All right. So I'm gonna say the big tree where even Armageddon have the slight edge. But when you go down the rest of the roster now, this is where the difference come in. But that is not how we judge basketball, you know. Because system for system, Golden State was a better team in a system of basketball than PSG. So we can't just look at talent for talent. And as I said to you, if I were to you, hold on. All right, you see how much I was fearing my analysts are saying LeBron over Steph. But if we check the disparity between Kevin Love and Draymond, how Draymond played against Kevin Love, then that disparity there would be enough to make up the Stephen and LeBron disparity, G-Star.
I don't think so. I don't think so. No, I don't think so.
Draymond
I think Kyrie
Kevin Love and a leash, my brother. Clear defense. If you go by both ends of the court,
both ends of the court.
Yeah.
Kyrie's a superstar. Has Clay ever been on an NBA team?
I can't hold on. All right, you know me, I use and judge it. Since you got this, persons have Klay Thompson as the 76th or 77 best player and the top 75. Kyrie was nowhere near that. So good. So if you use that, if you're gonna use a parallel to be drawn,
that's greatness, though. Different thing that. That's greatness. That's different. And we know that championships.
We're not gonna believe about the point that too much, G-Star. Saying.
Yeah.
But we want, because we want almost shop. But and me give you your chance to say your piece. And Virgin, me always love talk basketball. Big up all of the Virgin them in the stream. Ryan LFC, I say, boy, I love how you talk about basketball. We give thanks, my Virgin. Saying and we follow your thing to Ryan LFC and we rate the man thing and we love what you do to my Virgin. So give thanks for so you can join us here. All right. G-Star. You tell me, say, the Draymond talk a lot of foolishness. All right, so while you give credence to some of the things, and while you share the opinions that of some of the things he said, you disagree with a lot of what he said. Obviously, I agree with him about needing KD. You agree with him about well, I don't know if I agree with him about Houston not being able to beat them without KD, but obviously you're of the opinion that they needed KD more to beat Cavs than the Houston Rockets. I disagree on that. All right, but generally, saying may I say this now? Draymond, for me, he has said a couple of things contradicting what he said recently. First one, and Preacher addressed it when he said people said him speak when you speak out of anger, you say anything will come to your mouth. He said to KD in 2019, you can go, we don't need you. We won before you, we won after you. That has been proven to be true this year. But something that he said after this year's final, he said, for me, he says, and may I quote him, not word for it, but I kind of paraphrase a bit of what he said. He said, it still hasn't been proven that we can be beat when we're whole. And he says, by whole, I mean when all three of us, him, Steph Curry, and Klay Thompson, starts and finish every game in our NBA finals. And I found that to be such a profound statement and such a truthful statement. In 2015, they were whole. All of them played start to finish. 2016, 17, even though KD was a part of that team, that was true. However, in 2016, based on his suspension, and 2019, based on the Klay Thompson injury, they were not whole. This year, when they all three were whole, play start to finish, they won again this year. For me, that's a profound statement and a statement, even though I wouldn't say in fact, but a statement that time has proven to be truthful. So saying that now, G-Star, I can't understand why he would go back to saying to this revisionist history, to say we couldn't have beaten the Cavs without KD. When in your mindset, you're saying, if me, Stephen, cleared up on the court for all the games in a final, start to finish, we cannot be beat. And that has been proven true by the passage of time, so to speak. May I give you a chance to make a closing statement, Virgin, because we have gone a little bit in this thing.
Yeah, man. Honestly, it's like trying to listen to Dennis Rodman talk when in a Dennis Rodman interview and take everything what Dennis Rodman says seriously. To me, Draymond Green is, I'm not saying he's Dennis Rodman, but he's talking a lot of junk, bro. Like, Draymond Green on TNT is exceptional. Draymond Green is an exceptional analyst, but he says sometimes what he wants to say when he wants to say it, if you understand what they're saying by that. Because if he's even making a statement about the same thing you went over about the Houston Rockets, 1 minute he said we don't need you, the next minute he said that we need you. We needed KD. You know what I'm saying? And then you're really going to say that you took Jaylen Brown's soul? If you look at the stats, Jaylen Brown had a couple bad games, yes, but he was always aggressive. He was always attacking. You could say that Andrew Wiggins took Jason Tatum's soul, but you can't say Draymond Green.
For the Christians, for the Christians and for the Christians who are part of the podcast, I know some people are rubbed a little wrong way when they whole thought of taking. It's a sporting analogy and a sporting, just taking one's will. It means making that person defeated, making the person feel defeated. Hold on the G-Star. I want to welcome Donald Leo to the stream. Donald Leo is loving what you're doing. He said, boy, we're discussing the thing. Exceptional basketball analysis. So give thanks, Donald Leo. I want to also welcome O'Neil Smith to the stream, who is sharing the same sentiment. He says, like how you guys reason basketball. I want to give thanks to that, O'Neil. It is our passion, both me and J-Star, and that is why we discuss it at this level and with this kind of a passion. Welcome, gentlemen. Yeah, J-Star. I'll do another 2 minutes and then wrap up the stream. Go ahead. G-Star seem to be at the first. Go ahead, G-Star. Give me another 30 seconds.
As you said, when I'm talking about taking the soul, it's really taking the will of the player, right? So basically, your baller pioneer. It's like Charles Barkley. You listen to Charles Barkley, but you cannot take everything what Charles Barkley says as gospel.
That face value. All right, understand.
Yeah,
I
it's
agree.
the same thing
I
with
agree.
Draymond Green. You listen to him, but you cannot take everything that Draymond Green says as gospel. And finally, in most of the 2016, the first Cleveland Cavaliers final against the Warriors, they asked LeBron what was the difference between this year and last year. And I'm sure you remember this, Pioneer. LeBron James said Kevin Durant, that 7 foot monster.
That's
And he
27.
kept on saying that
That's
Kevin
2017.
Durant.
That's 2017. Yeah, 17.
Yeah, he was
He said that. All right.
yeah,
All right. So we have to give some credence and some credit to that. Ryan LFC is asking, what do you think about Boston this season? I am a fan of Boston, and I'm thinking, when you said this season, Ryan, you're talking about the 2022 going into 23 season. I think that making the finals, they can build on that. Boston has, apart from the need for Jalen Brown and Jason Tatum, grow up a little bit more, and and every player does that. You work on your weaknesses in the off season. Try to come into the next season a better player. We after this loss, we would expect that these two pretty young players, will take that as some fuel to their fire and work on their weaknesses. We saw where they had a problem. Both of them were a problem going left. Draymond spoke about that in his podcast to G-Star. He said he figured them out after game 4 and realized that when he sent them left, they were weak. They were turning over the ball. So they obviously will have to work on those weaknesses, Ryan LFC. But in addition to that, I think Boston needs a ball handler. They went for what's his name from the Spurs, Derek White, to try and fill that void. Marcus Smart, good a player, great defensive player as he is. He's not the prototypical point guard. He can knock down the outside tree, but he's not a great decision maker. He doesn't put his teammates like a Steph Curry or a Chris Paul or somebody at a better point guard, a Trae Young. He doesn't put his teammates in a proper position with his point guard play. All right, so they are lacking that. They brought in Murray, and Murray kind of fill a little bit of that gap, but they still need a prototypical point guard, and that is my view of what Boston needs, Ryan. And I think if they get a good point guard, they could be back in the finals next year. It's not going to be easy because the East is going to get a little tough with all the people coming back from injury. But I think if they get a good point guard and these young players continue to develop, then who knows? Who knows? The possibilities are endless. Go ahead.
Answer to that question here too.
Go ahead. You're saying.
Yeah. So I totally disregard, or not disregard, that whole point guard thing about Marcus Smart. I think Marcus Smart is kind of getting unnecessary, like he's being bashed unnecessarily. He wasn't great as the point guard, but at the end of the day, it was their system. If you watch Boston Celtics, as Draymond says, he loves someone give it a little bit of X's and O's. On their offense, you tell me they not Marcus' fault. The only that they run was a off-ball screen at the three-point line. There were no other plays, right? Everything was isolation basketball, just like the Brooklyn Nets. So they actually need offense, and then he bet no Pioneer said about Brown and
Well, on J-Star, remember I've stopped a little bit because obviously your connection is a little bit unstable. You're not coming through clearly through the stream. Well, welcome Arshant Ariel to the stream. Arshant Ariel is saying Knicks about to give Jalen Brown $30 million a season. This is why the Knicks will always suck. We're gonna have another stream soon, and we're gonna discuss free agents. All right, and G-Star and I was having a conversation earlier today. Welcome, Aisha. Oh, welcome Kevin Reed to the stream. Back where you're crazy. All right, Kevin Reed. And Aisha also said Boston Celtics would have lost to the Milwaukee Bucks in 5 games if Chris Middleton was not hurt. That is a lot of people's view, Aisha. And
maybe.
I think it would have been a much closer series for sure. And well, it was a close series to begin. So I think I would have tilted. You know, the series have been tilted in the Bucks' favor had Chris Middleton being healthy. Right, Ryan, LFC is asking, when is the next show? We're going to try to make it soon, Ryan. You know, because of logistic purposes, we don't schedule the shows on time. And this is where we probably need to start kind of get it right, Ryan. We're going to try to do the next show because free agency started yesterday. It will last for a couple of days. So possibly within the next week or in the next 3 or 4 days, we'll have another show and we'll discuss some of the moves that have been made in free agency. Kevin Reader said, John Omelate. Kevin, you can always go back, man. Just go back and watch a stream on YouTube. And we ask everybody who are here. Just like this, like if you like the content and you like what we're doing here, just like the stream. All right, and drop a comment. Saying we like all the man are commenting on this live stream now. But even after, for the persons who are going to watch after, give us your comments because we read your comments, we feed off your comments. And for those who are here who haven't subscribed, I keep saying this. I watch I Am Sure religiously when I'm not on because I like what Mannings does with his football coverage, his football content. I like what he does with the interviews. I consider us along with people like Ryan LFC as Jamaican YouTubers who give authentic sports content. You know what I say? We have to build each other, people. We have to show people that we can discuss the sport. We don't have to go to ESPN FC to get quality football analysis. We can go over Ryan LFC. We can come to I Am Sure Sports. We don't have to go to Fox or to ESPN, Stephen A. Smith. We can discuss basketball. Because we watch the game just like these gentlemen. We have minds and we have good sporting minds and good basketball acumen where we can discuss it at a high level. Because we have had discussions here on occasions that weeks later we have heard them taking that up on ESPN and on Fox. So, we give thanks to everybody who has joined us in the stream. G-Star, we give thanks to your presence, brethren. We know you're kind of under the weather a little bit, so for you to be here with us while you're under the weather. We want to give thanks to Preacher who was here with us earlier. We want to give thanks to Gunners Boss, Spine Action, who joined us briefly. National, who wanted to be here but couldn't be here. We want to give thanks to all. We want to say thanks. As I said, like, share the stream, comment, and for those who haven't subscribed, subscribe to the channel. We're here. Give thanks. And again, for another a series around the NBA on I Am Sure Sports. My name is Pioneer.